The following podcast is a part of RadioMisfits.com. And now it's time for the Mr. Nailsin Show. Well, I found time to watch another episode of Space 1999.
Oh, well, how'd this one go?
Well, the premise of it is actually pretty solid, and it's the sort of thing that you would expect in these circumstances where there could be a potential mutiny with the crew and all that.
Yeah. You know, I always wondered why they didn't really happen with, like, Star Trek. I mean, it's supposed to be like a space navy, and but, you know, there were some episodes where they kind of got there, but they, you know, it's like it wasn't the full premise of it or plot or what have you. And just to have that happen would have been interesting.
Yeah, I think they came to it in some of the Star Trek Voyager episodes.
Yeah, but does that really count?
It kind of does, but yeah, it's not my favorite of the well, it's looking pretty good since, you know.
Oh, look, Kurtzman tried, and there was a lot of diversity, and you gotta give him that.
No, I don't. Anyway, so for Space 1999, they're in that situation where they're basically under the absolute rule of Commander Koenig.
Oh, now, come on. Absolute rule's a bit much.
Well, that's how these mutineers see it. At least one of them, and the rest just follow along.
Good Lord. What is he, a cult leader?
Well, kinda. The guy does resemble Charles Manson.
Oh, my God.
And, the premise is that Koenig, they think there's a planet within this nebula they're coming upon, but Koenig decides to have a blackout on information because he doesn't want to get people's hopes up yet again, only to have it dashed because they keep looking for a new home, you know.
Right. So he just didn't want to hurt their fifis one more time. That's very insensitive of him. It is. Because, you know, sometimes you just do what you're told. And you don't want to have the decision all up to you. There's special people for that sort of thing.
Well, anyway, this kind of backfires on him, but, you can understand people being kind of irked or pissed off or whatever, but this guy just loses it and, apparently, believes in, psychic powers and whatnot.
What?
Yeah. He and his little crew, apparently he's the leader of a survey team, and then they would be the guys who would go to the different worlds that they come upon and survey it for, you know, whatever minerals and vegetation it has and all that type of stuff.
Right.
And so, he says he had a vision. Yeah, and he thinks that there is an Earth-like planet within that nebula, and Koenig is denying them this information.
Now, why would Koenig do that? I mean, that's their whole purpose. Their only real hope is to find a new world to live on. So why would he keep that secret?
Because he wants to maintain his grip on power.
His power to just rule a couple of people on a dead moon? I mean, boy, that doesn't have much of a future to it.
Yeah, well, this Space Charles Manson guy didn't think of that. So, he's demanding more information. He ends up getting in fights with other people, and he's leading his survey team, you know, to join him in this. And then, they get in trouble and are disciplined for a bit. But then they rebel again and go full-on mutiny, take over the command center, and then they mess with the operations and whatnot. And Koenig is in the Eagle, and he's exploring the planet. There is a planet in the nebula.
So Charles Manson was right.
Well, only so much. The planet is there, but it's just a barren wasteland with all kinds of toxic gases and whatnot. So can't really live there.
Oh, well, that's too bad. I guess his dream kind of left that part out.
Yeah. Well, he tried to bolster it by getting him and his survey team to sit around and hold a seance.
What? But they spoke to ghosts?
Well, I guess the ghost of the planet. I don't know.
What?
Well, they all held hands, and he claims to have psychic powers. Look, that's what the deal. He's a cult leader. I mean, that's the only way to explain it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess being stuck in that stupid moon base all that time, they really went off their rocker.
Yeah, that's basically what happened here. And, so, again, he sabotages the operations of Alpha Base. So, by the time Koenig is able to get back and everything, it's a little late because now the moon is being drawn into the gravity well of the planet within the nebula.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And if they don't change course, well, they're going to collide with it and die.
Oh, my God.
So, they got to figure out how to stop it. Well, as mentioned in an earlier episode, they still have a lot of that nuclear waste and stuff that's on the moon.
Oh, yeah, that stuff exploded. That's how they ended up going through space.
Right. So, well, I guess there was another dump site because this installation is still intact and everything. So, they got plenty there. So the idea is to make use of that to ignite it so it pushes the moon yet again out of the gravity well of the planet. And that's why they got to have those nukes around, because if it's the wrong planet, you need to get out of it in order to keep going.
Well, it's a good thing they finally dealt with that.
Yeah, it took them a while. They did mention it in an earlier episode, so at least that was there, because that was one of the flaws out of many that the premise of the whole show had. But anyway, there you go. So if you get stuck in the wrong planet's gravity well, you blast your way out of it.
You know, it's a funny thing. Why don't they just blast themselves in the opposite direction they're going, and eventually they'd get back to Earth?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, give it a shot. I mean,
the time displacement and whatnot, the Earth would be, much older than when they left it. It'd be very different. And they've already had an episode where they managed to talk to him through, I guess it was a wormhole or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They just didn't think of that.
No, I guess they don't.
No. So just the idea of a mutiny would be a good idea plot for an episode of a show like this, but oh man, there was just too much silliness in it, and just that damn music they use for action scenes. I mean, it's just too 70s stuff,
What do you mean?
It's just they're running around with these jazzy sounds, and
there's nothing wrong with jazz.
It is when you're having an adventure in space and fights. I mean, it just doesn't quite work.
It worked for Starsky and Hutch.
Well, anyway, the Charles Manson guy falls down a hole and dies.
Well, good riddance.
Yeah, I guess so. And his cult started to, all of a sudden started to think, and they said, hey, wait a minute, this sounds crazy. And so he was on his own at that point.
Well, that's all for the best.
Yeah. So, but it sure did show another flaw for Alpha Base.
Oh, what's that?
Their security is crap. I mean, this one guy beat the crap out of all their security and just knocked them on their asses. I mean, he was in the infirmary or whatever, and the doctor was telling him, no, you gotta stay here. And he's like, screw that. So she says, security. And these two guys are blocking his way to the door. And man, he just lays them to waste. Stomps on out of there. I mean, pretty pathetic,
Well, they're kind of limited, Good help's hard to find out in outer space.
Yeah, I guess so. So anyway, there you go. The mutiny that tried. but fell down a hole in another episode of Space 1999. You're listening to the Mr. Nailsin Show here on RadioMisfits.com. Secret agent Joe Journal has been launched into space on a trip to the moon to rescue supermodel and influencer Zara Zillion from the clutches of the Cosmic Coven, a secret society of superpowered, man-hating extremist women who reside on a secret base somewhere on the moon.
Agent Journal to base. I'm approaching the moon now. And, yes, I see it. I can just make out the strange man-made structure on its surface.
Roger that, Journal. But just to be clear, it's probably not man-made because, well, they're a bunch of man-hating bitches.
What? Oh! Well, of course, when I said man-made, I just meant it in the overall term of humanity, you understand?
Yeah, we don't really care. Now listen, you gotta be coming in close, so you wanna start your landing procedure.
Right. About that, speaking of coming in close, I'm coming in close very, very fast. How do I slow down?
What do you mean, how you slow down? Weren't you trained on the operation of the rocket?
Well, no. I was trained on the rescue mission details, but, I thought it was odd that I wasn't given any rocket training at the time. But I just assumed you probably had it remote controlled or something like that.
That's a negative, Agent Journal. Damn it. Hang on a minute. Where's the damn manual? Oh, damn. Okay, here's what you do. It's gonna work like brakes, You're gonna want to pump those retro rockets.
Retro rockets? Well, look, again, I'm not a rocket scientist. And all rockets look the same to me. I can't tell it stylistically which one looks older than the other or whatever.
Older than the other? No, you idiot! There's rockets in front of the ship. Those! You gotta fire those to slow you down.
What? There are rockets? Okay. I guess it's this lever here, labeled retro rockets.
Yeah, that ought to work out great, Agent Journal. Now look, you're gonna want to park near the Cosmic Coven complex thing, but enough out of sight so, they won't see you coming. Because it's a secret mission. So, keep it secret.
Will do.
And so Agent Journal is able to land his spacecraft just behind a rocky obstruction nearby the massive secret complex of the Cosmic Coven.
This appears to be the back door to the complex. And if there's one thing I know, it's my way around a back door. I should be able to pick the lock. God, I don't have oxygen forever. I'm going to have to, I know, the laser cutter will do it. I'll just cut the damn door open. There we go. All right. Coming along now. I need to make it big enough for me to fit through, of course. There we go. And then I should be able to just kick it in and... Oh, it's letting all the air out. There's an alarm. I'd better find a room to hide in. Oh, wait, I'm using up too much oxygen. Damn it. I can breathe in here. Oh, but I left the door open.
Find the intruder, sisters.
damn it! They're coming for me. I've got to find a place to hide. Maybe this room. Locked. Maybe this one. No. Maybe this one. Oh, it opened. Okay. Inside. I gotta close it behind me. Good and sealed. Should be able to take my helmet off now.
It's a strange room. It appears to be some sort of trophy room. All these bizarre relics. I wonder where they came from. They are called the Cosmic Coven. Could these be alien artifacts? Well, not much use to me, except maybe this one. This weird glowing rod. Yeah, that might make for a good weapon.
Hold it right there, intruder!
Oh, damn it.
Sisters, behold! He clutches the astral shaft. Impossible.
The asshole shaft? Astro.
No.
Astro shaft. Well, I guess that's why it glows. I don't know.
Impossible! No man may touch the celestial rod.
Well, I got news for you, lady. It fits like a glove.
Sister, how can this be? This man has violated our home and grabbed our precious relic. He's clearly an abomination.
So, it's down to name-calling, is it? Well, I shouldn't be surprised, coming from a band of kidnappers.
Silence, man! And give me that rod.
Forget it, lady. You'll get no rod from me.
We'll see. Soon you will yield to the power of our glowing areolas. Give it to him, girls.
What? Good Lord, they're all going topless, and... Wait a minute. It all makes sense now. Now I understand the training that the agency gave me. They're trying to hypnotize me. Trying to take over my mind. Well, it's not gonna work. Titties glowing or otherwise mean nothing to me.
He resists us. Impossible. This can't be, and yet it is. Mistress Astro, what's going on? And oh wow, who's the cute guy?
Miss Zillion.
Oh, mage. Sister Zara, this is your moment of truth. Perhaps your power can overcome this intruder. Use your glorious glutes to bend him to your will. Yes, mistress, I obey. Hey, buddy, get a load of this ass.
Miss Zillion, I'm Agent Joe Journal. I'm here to rescue you from these crazy bitches. Now come along with me, and we can escape together. Wait, what are you doing? Why are you pulling your panties down?
Yes, look into my ass. Look at my glorious glowing
It's the most
glutes.
incredible ass I've ever seen.
You cannot resist them. You cannot resist.
I can't look away from it.
Glowing
I-
glutes. Well done, Moon Mage. Now, all that remains for you to finally prove yourself to the Coven is to kill this disgusting creature.
Oh, no. Will Zara Zillion kill Agent Joe Journal and join the dark side of the Cosmic Coven? Find out in the next exciting episode of Moon Mage. You have been listening to Moon Mage. All stories written, directed, and performed by me, Douglas Narville. Music provided by Kevin MacLeod and other public domain sources. You're listening to the Mr. Nailsin Show here on RadioMisfits.com. Harvard social scientists lay out the case for the existence of lizard people. Perhaps, but maybe not. The Pentagon regards UAP as sources of anomalous detections in one or more domains that are not yet attributable to known actors and that demonstrate behavior that are not readily understood by censors or observers. The dominant hypothesis for these phenomena are either that they are the work of extraterrestrials from distant worlds and civilizations, or that they were simply fashioned by human beings. A paper set to be published in the academic journal Philosophy and Cosmology recommends that scientists keep an open mind about a possible third option, that UAP, formerly known as UFOs, could be the product of non-human intelligent beings concealed in stealth here on Earth and or its near environs, such as the moon, and or even walking among us, passing themselves off as human. In other words, academics are entertaining the possibility that flying saucers might not be the work of little green men from Mars, but rather by cryptoterrestrials, lizard people, stranded aliens, fairies, advanced cave dwellers, or residents of the dark side of the moon. According to Tim Lomas and Brendan Case of Harvard University's Human Flourishing Program and biological anthropologist Michael Masters of Montana Technological University, scientists should not dismiss the cryptoterrestrial hypothesis.
We recognize these CTHs may rightly be regarded skeptically by most scientists, but argue that nevertheless should not be ruled out and deserve consideration in a spirit of epistemic humility and openness.
They wrote. The trio indicated they were inclined to pursue the topic after philosopher Bernardo Kastrup's recent dismissal of the hypothesis over its outlandish, unlikely, and far-out nature. Their paper, a hodgepodge of references to local myths, alleged archaeological discoveries, believers' anecdotes, questions raised by lawmakers, science fiction, and statements by military officials, raised 5 considerations: limits to historical and geological knowledge, traces of lost civilizations, supposed traces of underground civilizations, traditions around magical cryptoterrestrials, and UAP activity underground, underwater, and near the moon. The researchers stressed at the outset that this particular theory is distinct from the notion that UAP are the work of interdimensional beings. Instead, so-called cryptoterrestrials are understood to be physically present within current standard space-time dimensions, even if hidden from view. Possible candidates for cryptoterrestrials apparently include dinosauroids.
Across cultures, or legends for instance, of anthropomorphic reptilian races such as the Nagas, a semi-divine species of half-human, half-serpent beings thought to reside in Patala, a netherworld, venerated in Hinduism and Buddhism. Moreover, paleontologists have even speculated whether such creatures could possibly have evolved from known zoological origins,
wrote the Harvard academics. The researchers cited the suggestion that an anthropomorphic dinosaur called a Troodon survived the mass extinction event 65 million years ago and now lurks underground. The Troodon, or some other terrestrial animal which evolved to live in stealth, they intimated could be that former CIA agent John Ramirez apparently believes is crawling all over the earth, with the knowledge of the U.S. government, the National Reconnaissance Office in particular. Noting the perception of an absence of visible means of propulsion or sources of exhaust in various alleged sightings, the researchers raised the possibility, again non-committally, that cryptoterrestrials could instead be magical beings such as angels or fairies, elves, gnomes, brownies, trolls, and the like. If not lizard people or fairy folk, then there are two other possibilities, according to the paper. Remnants of a lost human civilization, or extraterrestrial aliens, or our intertemporal descendants who arrived on Earth from somewhere in the cosmos, or from the human future, respectively, and concealed themselves in stealth. The paper, released online 1 year after Gallup revealed that Americans' confidence in higher education had fallen to 36%, notes that the primary locales where NHI have been alleged to hide out are Antarctica, Dulce, New Mexico, deep in the oceans, and on the dark side of the moon. Volcanoes such as Popocatépetl volcano in central Mexico, I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, are also apparently possible headquarters, if not portals. The researchers admitted in their conclusion that all four hypotheses are far-fetched on their face, and they entertain them here because some aspects of UAP are strange enough that they call for unconventional explanations. The trio noted that whereas in past years that they personally would have rated the possibility of a cryptoterrestrial having some basis in truth as low as 1%, they would now put it at around 10%.
Indeed, this is a fitting summary of the CTH. It may be exceedingly improbable, but hopefully this paper has shown it should nevertheless be kept on the table as we seek to understand the ongoing empirical mystery of UAP. This point was made in a recent article in Scientific American, for example, titled, "It's Time to Hear from Social Scientists About UFOs."
Although accepted for publication, the paper has not yet been peer-reviewed. So, could it be the explanation of UFOs and other paranormal phenomena the results of cryptoterrestrials? Perhaps, but maybe not. The views and opinions expressed during the Mr. Nailsin Show do not necessarily reflect those held by RadioMisfits.com. So, any complaints and or comments should be sent to @Mr. Nailsin on Twitter, where they will be promptly ignored and or blocked.